guys, this is Mad King Corduroy here, and I have before me my brand new, well, for me, 1980 Sears Scholar Electric Assist Typewriter with correction. Now, that doesn't mean it uses a cartridge with a correction tape in it, and it actually takes the letter off like you saw in the late 80s and the early 90s with the digital word processors. They used wheelwright, mechanisms, much like the printers. Instead, this is more of a traditional one, and it was designed to use two-tone ribbons. As you can see here, it has a two-tone ribbon on here, but this is navy blue and red. Originally, it would have come with a correction tape on the bottom here. This bottom row, or color, would have been a correction tape. Which is basically whiteout, but that dries out over time and ends up chipping and falling apart and leaving dust all over the inside of your typewriter. As you can kind of see here, there's a lot of dust on the inside of this, and I'm guessing that's what that's from. Let's just put the cover back on here. This is a nice typewriter in that it's, as you saw, traditional. It uses the traditional basket and ribbon spools, unlike the later Coronamatics, which use a cartridge in the side here, and you have to either buy a new cartridge, and they're getting very expensive now, or re-spool it yourself, which is a real pain, and nobody likes doing that. So I really got lucky here, and the one that I found was a more traditional setup. Why did I want one of these? Well, I wanted one of these typewriters because I saw one online, and I had never used a typewriter with a power return. Now, what's a power return? A manual return is one where you have the lever up here, and you advance the platen, it rolls up one, and then you roll it over to the left after you're done typing. Go back, type your sentence, and then do it again. The power return, however, you just have to hit a button, you set it up here to however much you want to, go up one line. You have none, 1, 1.5, and 2. I usually set it to 1. And then you hit the power return, it goes dook and moves it up 1, and then goes back over to the left margin, and you can start typing again. I'll show that in a second here. The other cool thing about this typewriter is the fact that it has, an actual keyboard, instead of the manual influenced keyboard that you saw on my 1968 Medalist Electric 12, which had these little round keys, which were awkward to say the least to type on. This, however, feels much more familiar for me in this modern generation. Well, the cool thing about this is the same cool thing I found with the Commodore 64 computers, is that the shift lock actually locks it down like a typewriter. Isn't that cool? Another nice thing is that there's actually a 1. There's a 1 key with an exclamation mark. No more going period apostrophe if you want an exclamation mark, and no more lowercase L. Thank God for that. Like I said before, this thing has two-tone ribbons, which means that you can set it down here. That would be your red, that would be your black, and that would be nothing. Why would you want it to hit the platen without hitting a ribbon? Well, if you had a correction strip, like the whiteout strips, you basically hit it or backspace to the last thing you messed up, put that on there, and then hit the same letter that you screwed up to write over it in white, and that would give you a blank page or a blank spot again. In theory, and a lot of times you missed and it ends up fading the letter, but in theory it should work. Most people just opted for whiteout pens though, or whiteout in a brush, which is why you end up getting it all over the front of the typewriter. However, I will be doing none of that, and I will just be using it and trying my darndest not to make any mistakes. Although, as you'll see in a second, I am a horrible typer. So I have the piece of paper here. Let's go ahead and load it up. We'll just go ahead. And actually, I'm not going to use that, because it makes it a little harder to load it. Also, if you don't raise this, it crinkles. So as you can see, the platen is quite new. That's nice, and this is not square. That's why. Alright. That seemed a lot more square. Okay. Yep, just crinkled it. Darn it. Okay, and now to show off the power return. Let's turn that on. As you can hear, it's pretty quiet. It's pretty darn quiet for an electric typewriter from the early 80s. It's very quiet. Just hit power return here. Goes over to the end. And then we can start typing. 3 spaces gives us a paragraph indent. You know what? I forgot to do that. Look at that. I forgot to change it back down to ink, so it was just hitting the page. Okay. Let's just do a quick typing demonstration here. I made a typo there, but I recovered. Yeah, let's type something else. As you can see, the action is quite quick. It's very nice to type on, especially with these keycaps. It makes things really nice, and it's very responsive. Now, I only paid $5 for mine, but I would be willing to pay up to $20 for one of these, probably, if I found one in a thrift store or somewhere else. So if you get a chance to get one, you know, grab it, because this is a cool typewriter. It's definitely worth the money if you're into typewriters or you just want something different. It's really cool. I made King Corduroy, and this is my 1980 Sears the Scholar typewriter. So I hope you enjoyed, and if you enjoyed this, be sure to check out my other videos. I have another typewriter video up. There's going to be more in the future because I have 5 typewriters as of this date. And I'm hopefully going to be trimming that down a bit because I really don't want that much stuff. And I've got a ton more computers to look at and a bunch of other stuff. So just keep watching, and I'll keep posting them. I'll try and be more regular. I know I've been really lazy about it, but there'll be more coming in the future, so just hang in there. Thank you very much.